Good evening. You're watching India Today and our continuous coverage on an election which is taking place in the backdrop of a pandemic. It's phase 2, 94 seats in Bihar go into polling today, spread across 17 districts. It's one of the most crucial phases in Bihar. Actually, many would reckon it is the most crucial, especially where the NDA is concerned. Maximum number of seats go into poll today in the three-phase polling of Bihar with 94. Phase 3 would just be 73. Let's cut across to our guests. I have Manisha Priyam, academic and researcher, Javed Ansari, senior journalist. Javed, I apologize, I had to cut you at that point of time because we were getting Rabri Devi, who was speaking to us. Do continue. We were talking about Tejashwi, how this election is pretty much a coming of age for Tejashwi.
Yeah, the point I was making was that just 2 months ago, he was written off as an upstart. This election, a week before it was formally announced, was supposed to have been a done deal. And even, number crunchers, famous number crunchers were of the opinion that NDA would not get less than 150, and the rest would be made up by the Mahagathbandhan. Now everybody's having to wake up and smell the coffee because Tejashwi has turned this election on the head. And if momentum is anything to go by, if the energy and the enthusiasm of the crowds is anything to go by, then Tejashwi appears to be on a roll. He's setting the agenda. Mr. Nitish Kumar and the Prime Minister, I underline this, and the Prime Minister are having to respond to whatever Tejashwi is saying. The Mahagathbandhan has been pretty smart about this. They have ensured that the focus is kept on local issues. So they don't want to get involved on 370. They don't want to join the argument on Ayodhya. They are not debating Galwan whether or not the Prime Minister did what he ought to have done. They are keeping it focused on issues, on the lack of jobs, on unemployment, the migrant crisis, and what they call 15 years of inaction on the part of Nitish Kumar. He has very cleverly turned the spotlight on Mr. Nitish Kumar. It's Nitish Kumar who's being held to account, and this attempt by Mr. Nitish Kumar and the Prime Minister to hark back and to refer to issues 15 years ago till now doesn't appear to be cutting ice. So herein lies his success, and that's where Tejashwi appears to have succeeded, where his opponents haven't.
So, Javed, yes, they are talking about jobs. They're not talking about the other issues that were raked up by the NDA. However, will they be able to trump something on which BJP has earned its spurs in election after election, which is to get down complete caste calculations to booth numbers bang on? Will they be able to do that? That's, like I said, we'll only know when that last vote is counted. But let's just take you now back to 2015, what the seat share looked like where Bihar was concerned. So 2015 Assembly polls, the phase 2 seat share. RJD 33, JDU 30, BJP 20, Congress 7, others 4. So this is what the seat share looked like. Let's go on to the vote percentage. The vote share was with BJP at 26%, the RJD at 20%, JDU at 17%, Congress 5%, others 32%. So the BJP in terms of vote share did have 26%. It's an important indicator there, and I want to cut across to Manisha Priyam at the back of this count in terms of the vote share of 26%, Manisha Priyam, in 2015. The second phase right now is crucial for the NDA, where the BJP is concerned as well.
So the vote share of 2015 somehow is not a very good indicator to go by, because it was an election where the RJD and the JDU came together. Remember, the socialists coming together means the entire votes of the OBCs and the Ati Pichhadas coming together, and topped up with the votes of the women voters who were till then very, very upbeat and buoyant about Nitish Kumar's good governance model. That made it an invincible and absolutely formidable force to go with. The socialists originally and together remain the favorites in Bihar, and that is what 2015 was all about. Now, you also had at that point of time no real anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar. Now, what we find today is that, of course, Nitish Kumarji is now with the BJP. He's lost out on the critical votes also of the Pasmanda Muslim Mahaz. A fraction of the Muslims also backed the plank of good governance of Nitish Kumar. And you have a situation where the only real answer that we don't have is whether the EBCs will still go back to Nitish Kumar or are they thinking differently. Now, of the conversations that I have had amongst the Ati Pichdas, the EBC caste, that is also known as the Pachpodna caste, or a coalition of different small fragment jatis, and it seems that they are also questioning the Nitish Kumar good governance model. Now, therefore, the only question left on the table is now whether the Congress will be able to give a good fight to the BJP or not, because the Congress does not have a very strong grassroots cadre. So that remains, an election is always an election till the last fight happens. And in this phase, I would say, if the Congress performs well enough or is able to hold on, then it is advantage the MGB. If the EBC is split away, it could be disadvantage the NDA. But Sushil Kumar Modi coming in this morning is telling you that there is a signal going from the BJP quarters that they will fight this battle, notwithstanding the fact that there is now a strong voice against its alliance partner, the JDU, and the leader that they've chosen. Sushil Kumar Modi has been a deputy chief minister. He is coming out today as Patna goes to the polls. Is very, very important. Large parts of the belts in Champaran also have a very strong Bania vote base for the BJP. So Sushil Kumar Modi coming out this morning also, fortunately he's recovered from COVID, but it's also giving the message that the BJP has a strong local leadership in Bihar. That was a question that was being raised in the field. Unfortunately, a lot of their local leaders were down with COVID, but his coming back into the electoral arena is to assert the fact that the BJP is also a grassroots power to reckon with. A lot of organizational efforts that have gone into the BJP in the last
Manisha
few
Priyam,
years.
exactly with what you said. I just want to take our viewers through. I'm coming right back to you, Manisha Priyam. Nitish Kumar casting his vote there. Shaky visuals, but this is pretty much, real-time election coverage that you're getting. Nitish Kumar, the incumbent chief minister, casting his vote in Bihar, Patna. I want to get back to Manisha Priyam for a quick word in, and then we're going to go into a break. Ms. Priyam, you're talking about the BJP. You're talking about, of course, East and West Champaran, extremely important. Let's go back even the last election of the 20 seats that the BJP had won in phase 2. 14, if I'm not wrong, 13, if I'm not wrong, had come in from the East and West Champaran area. But the larger point, Manisha Priyam, is the fact that, we are talking about the narrative of votes, like Javed said, and fair enough, the narrative of jobs that has been set by Tejashwi. It might be changing, but can it actually trump what the BJP's earned its spurs on election, which is to get the booth politics down pat on, to get the caste numbers down pat down?
No, I would say in this phase, the BJP booth strategies are really formidable and they are something to reckon with. And they've organized themselves in the last 2 years in a manner in which I had never fathomed the BJP to be able to work at the grassroots level with so much strength. It will not be easy to just give a walkover here because the BJP has organized itself. There are, and that organization, the Shakti Kendras, for example, the people have been identified, cadres have been made. Now, the only thing to see is whether the EBC, if that shifts its votes,
all right.
the labor
Can we hear it, Ms. Priyam? Ms.
Ms.
Priyam, sorry, it's live news coming in. Nitish Kumar speaking right now to the press right before he leaves the poll booth. All right, okay, he's gone there. With that, just hold on to that thought, Ms. Priyam. You're going to come right back. She's talking about the EBC extremely backward class vote. Two, in terms of if you look at caste, big factors in phase 2. One is the upper caste and one is the EBC extremely backward caste. Which way will they go? The upper caste mostly with the BJP, but what about the EBC? Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.